Welcome to Unpacked, real conversations for diplomatic partners who are ready to unpack more than just boxes. This is the space for the brave questions, the messy middles, and the quiet decision to stop shrinking and start showing up fully. Talk identity, purpose, transitions, and what it really takes to feel at home in a life that's always moving. Because you've always been more than the label, and this is where we say it out loud. Hi, I'm Anna, and I am with my co-host Emma. Hi everyone, and welcome back to the episode number 29. I'm here today with the one and only amazing gorgeous Emma. Hi Emma.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm wonderful, thank you. Really good.
So today we're diving into a very important topic, right? Emma and I were just sharing our thoughts, kind of brainstorming before recording this. And the topic of today's episode will be confidence, because confidence is something a lot of us tend to lose. You know, when we become diplomatic partners, when we have to reinvent ourselves, when we are facing situations in life you've never faced before, and it can put a huge dent on our confidence. So today we're going to talk about how to actually train your confidence muscle, even when life is constantly changing, right?
Yeah.
So that's today's topic.
And I think what you said there is so important, Anna, because when first go overseas, we do get a massive dent in our confidence. I think we are thrown into a place where we are unfamiliar, people are unfamiliar. If we've not got our job or career or out the same structures that were surrounded us before. I mean, we've talked about before about where do you go out and find your groceries, and you feel like that is just a huge hurdle. So everything about your life, because like it takes you back. Not, I don't even think that you're a beginner when you start in this life. You're a pre-beginner because you are literally. It's like you're sometimes feels like you're, I don't know, at age 10 or 11, where you're really starting to understand independence and understanding how the world works around you all over again. So yeah, confidence in this lifestyle is really, really important. And as you take yourself from one posting to another posting, even though you're experiencing a brand new country and a brand new set of community, because you've already done it in that first one, you do feel a lot more. I'm not going to say confident in that country, but confident in yourself. It's a self trust, isn't it? That you've all of a
Exactly.
sudden started to get.
Yeah, definitely. I think a lot of it is self-trust, and you're right. So just going back to exactly, I think, let's say it's your first posting, you gave up a career or job I'm sure you were good at, because I think confidence comes through practicing things over and over again until you're really good at them. I think when we feel like very comfortable at what we do and who we are, I think that gives a lot of us a lot of confidence. And that's why when we say, you move abroad, let's say for your first diplomatic posting, most likely your roles are not going to be the same, right? Let's say you get a career. So now you're in this new role, you have no experience, and yes, you are a beginner or even pre-beginner, depending on, on the, let's say maybe the country too. But so this is a new terrain, like you've never been there before, you've never done it before. And I still remember our first posting to Shanghai, hanging out with other diplomatic spouses who've been doing it for a while. And I really felt, I don't know, so clueless and insecure. I was afraid of asking stupid questions because they all appeared to me like fish in water. They were so comfortable living this lifestyle. They knew the answers, the way they behaved, the topics they discussed. And there was my first posting ever. I really was very self-aware. And I think that's why I still remember being able to ask questions, that kind of to me seemed silly. It was such a relief, to especially those ones who were maybe not that far ahead of me, because I think the ones who were really like, I don't know, 4 postings ahead of me, yeah, that was a bit, it's like kind of was almost out of my league. That's
Yeah.
how it felt.
Do
Have
you
you
know?
experienced this?
Oh my goodness, definitely. But I was just trying to think about that. What actually helped me on my very first posting?
Yeah.
There was a WhatsApp group that was called for new and newish arrivals, and basically
Oh, okay.
the whole point of that WhatsApp group was so you could ask the stupid questions. Because it is important. Like you have, you want to be able to. And there was a community liaison officer who, ran it, and it was a way of bridging that gap between first of all, you knew who had just arrived, so that was really, really nice that actually you could
Yep.
create those relationships and I don't know, go around town and fumble together and figure out what's going on together, which was good. But also because there was someone else in the group who could answer the questions, you felt as though you could easily ask those questions, um, and I think it is so important because like you say, when you're very self-aware when you first move somewhere, and if you feel as though you're the only new person, it can feel quite isolating, can't it? You feel as though
Definitely.
you definitely feel as though
Exactly.
like everybody knows each other, everyone feels
Yeah.
so confident getting out and about, and here you are thinking, oh my god, I don't really want to do anything this week, or god, this feels really scary, or what do I do with myself? So I think having that support system in that first week, I was added into that WhatsApp group, and it was so so helpful, and even to the point where then someone in that group then asked me for coffee or something, and I just think that having that ability and way of making those connections early on, and it's so important to ask the stupid questions even if you've not got that opportunity. I think people are aware, aren't they, that you need to know where is the best place to get pizza, or where is the best place to
Exactly.
do this, or what's the best way to get around this. And usually people are really really helpful and actually really want to help anyway, even when they are 3-4 postings down.
That's true. Exactly. I think obviously that was me projecting things,
Mm-hmm.
certain thoughts on people. But going back to this topic of confidence, so I think confidence is, I think none of us are born, like maybe some people are born with, I don't know, more confidence than others, but I think it's a really trainable skill. I don't even think Beyonce was born, as confident as she is now, like, or any superstar you look, or Taylor Swift. Or like, I'm sure it's trained. It's like a muscle,
Yeah.
and I think what we I think wanted to kind of discuss today. So how do you train this confidence muscle? And I think how do you also, I think, apply, let's say, you know, let's say the confidence you use to, let's say, overcome one challenge or go from beginner to a master,
Mm-hmm.
or at least confident, like, maybe not master, I don't know, are we masters? But like, you can say, I'm good at it. Like, I know how it works. Like,
Yeah.
let's say, and I think a lot of it really comes with practice. And the more you practice, and then the more reps you put in, let's say, like in the gym, with your confidence muscle, really the more confident you are, just the only way.
Yeah. And do you know what? I think that would be my step one. That you have to keep the promises to yourself. So you start off with like something really, really small, like a very small daily commitment, nothing that feels like too scary. Um, and you commit to it and you do it. And then at that point, you can then start saying, okay, yes, I've done this. And maybe you even record it. Maybe you just say, I don't know, let's say you have a goal to get out and about twice a week. You just have like a little
Yeah.
box on your diary and you tick twice off that you've done it. And I'm in a very similar position right now because I have learned how to build my confidence as a partner, but I've never learned how to build my confidence as a partner and a mum. So even when
Yeah.
I've come right back, I have struggled with my confidence in getting out and about because all of a sudden I'm very aware that I've got this very precious cargo on my back seat.
Yes. Oh,
And
yes.
Nairobi traffic and Nairobi rules of the road is petrified. I would have no
I,
when I take this back to when I first arrived to Nairobi. It took me so long to feel comfortable and confident on the roads driving about. I would be very happy to go out on my own right now, but because I have a very little tiny person in my back seat who
yeah,
decides that they want to cry or that it's time for a feed, or I don't know, they're just not happy, has knocked my confidence. So
absolutely.
what did I do? I said to Andrew, my husband, I was like, we need to go out and I need to do it with you in the back seat because you're the person who I
Mm,
trust the most to keep her calm and to keep things. So instead of
yeah,
going to the default mode where I feel really comfortable sat in the back seat with her and he's driving us around at the weekend, we had to break the chain. So I was like, okay, I'm going to drive us this weekend. You're in the back. Let's just go for it. And the first time we went out, she was okay. He was doing his good job of keeping her calm. But I think she's got like a 25-minute window where she's okay, and then it gets to 25 minutes. She's like, get me out of this. I've had enough. And we were
mm,
like 2 minutes away once we got to this like 25-minute mode. And this hysterical screams are starting. They were, and I don't know, as a mum, like obviously you really feel those screams to your core, don't you? And you can't, there's no, like the hormonal thing, I don't know. You can't logically process the fact that she is
that's
okay
true.
and she's safe and it's all going to be okay in 2 minutes' time when she's been picked up and she has a cuddle. And I could feel like the anxiety building. And I'm like, come on, Emma, keep calm. You're 2 minutes away. As soon as we got into that car park, I've never reversed into a space so fast in my entire life. Jumped out of the car and ran around to pick her up. And it was really, and then at this point, my husband's like, you didn't keep very calm towards the end, did you? You need to keep calm. And I was like, I did very well. you know, and I think it's those types of things that then over time, so I had then a friend over at the weekend, and again I was a bit anxious because we were going out and about around Nairobi, and she was in the back seat, so I felt good about that. But this time when the cries started, I just carried on singing along to the nursery rhymes. I was just like singing, I don't know, Humpty Dumpty or Sat on the Wall or whatever was going on. And I was thinking, the nursery rhymes are calming me down more than they're calming down the baby. And I think you start to relax into nothing bad is going to happen when I start pushing myself this little bit more. So keep going and keep giving those, break out your comfort zone, do a little bit that feels comfortable, then take it a little bit further each time.
Exactly. But I think it's also about, I love that example, Emma. And I think what that's what I'm training. Like, that's another little muscle I'm training at the moment. So, okay, let's say we're working on our confidence. And like, we suck when we are new at things. It's just the way the world works. Like, if I had now to sing on stage, that would be awful. Like, would not be pretty. So, or give a keynote speech. No, like, I've never done it. And, my first speech definitely would be, not brilliant. Which, what I'm trying to say, the first time you drove with your crying baby at the back of the car, yeah, maybe it was not a star performance, not 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
But that's fine because you cannot expect 10 out of 10 if you've never done it before. That's the law, right?
Yeah.
And if you are realistic and okay, it's my first time or my second time or maybe even my 10th time I'm doing it, but I haven't put enough reps yet. So I am not that brilliant at it. And nevertheless, for my first try, well, first I tried, I remained calm. Like, it all worked. Would I like to be better? Yes, sure. But I think it's like where a lot of us fall short. We really need to celebrate even the tiniest of things. Like, really,
Yeah.
like that was amazing. I did it,
Yeah.
right? And
Oh,
maybe I was
absolutely.
not as cool and like, I don't know, how to say, like really poised there,
Yeah.
taking aim, and going and walking slowly and picking my child up.
No.
Maybe not, but I did it. And I think, if you really see what I'm doing, for instance, like before going to bed, I really, you can even either write it down or just mentally, I go through the day and say, that was good, Anna, you did well, that was amazing. You promised to yourself and then you did that. So I really go and mentally tick off every tiny little thing that I did well.
Yeah.
And I think it just gives, like, really look back at your day instead of, I haven't done, I haven't accomplished, and where I could have been better. Like, no, like, give yourself with grace all those claps you deserve.
Yeah, and those exactly those small wins create the self-trust. And then as soon
Yeah,
as we get the self-trust, we can then it starts to build our resilience and our adaptability. And then when we know things haven't gone
exactly.
perfectly, we're like, okay, it didn't go perfectly, but I know I did it. It's a celebration. And then next time I know it's going to get better because and this is another good point, when you can then look back, probably further back at something now that you do really easily, you can start to borrow confidence from your past, can't you? So really at this point going, okay, what am I really good at now that I was terrible at in the past? I just trying to think, I don't know, baking a cake or I don't know, something where you really had to learn and you go through every little step of a recipe really methodically, really slowly. And then over time you just end up just throwing everything in together, making it really quick, and then you make it look really smooth. And that just shows you how much work goes into making things look effortless. You know,
Yeah.
just because it looks effortless doesn't mean that it is an easy skill.
No, look at ice skating.
Yes.
Like, figure skating. It looks effortless. They're all floating there. Well, try doing it yourself. And I think that's, it's when things become, when we are unconsciously competent in things, when it's really like either it's muscle memory, for, let's say for ice skating, or I don't know, even moving countries.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say I've done it so many times, it's I'm unconsciously competent. Like, I don't even need to think about it. I
Yeah.
just do it. It just comes from me. But to get there, you start when you first you don't know what you don't know, like becoming a mom. Well,
Yeah.
sure, we could read about it, but you don't know so many things.
Yeah.
And then when you start becoming, or learning, I was like, oh my God, I'm actually not good at so many things. You become aware of how much you don't know or at how much things you suck at that stage. And that's where a lot of people quit.
Mm-hmm.
That's when you look at, I'm just so painfully aware how bad I am at certain, because I've never done it. And well, yeah, I'm not good at it yet. And then when you keep practicing, and with time, you still kind of need consciously to steer you in the right direction, like, nursery rhymes or whatever. Like, but soon you'll be cruising in Nairobi.
Yes.
uh, and this Zen, I don't know, state, and everything will be fine. It just with practice, like, it just gets there. Obviously there are days when you're still, not zen, and it's fine. But I think it's like if you see it in perspective like that, it's just a natural. Like, it's not you, and
Mm-hmm.
it's not me. It's everyone. It's just the way it goes,
Yeah.
right?
And one thing that I mean, using this as an example, because of this, barrier of me feeling not very confident going out and about with Isla, it has meant that I've made my world very, very small.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm not leaving the house as much. I'm not doing as many fun things as I
Mm,
like to do, and I can feel that it's affecting me. I can feel that
yeah.
I'm getting to sometimes the end of the day, and I'm getting all these silly things like I'm jealous of Andrew going to work. Why am I jealous of that? You know, I get to
Mm,
spend all day with my baby and we have a great time. But just the it's not obviously about him going to work, it's about him just being able to just get up and leave and just do life as he normally wants to, or not wants to do, but that he can do. And there's me thinking, oh, I've got this extra big thing that I've got to overcome before I do those things. So I know that it's affecting my own well-being at this moment. So I am very, very aware, and even to the point where I created like this weird excuse or reason in my head. So next week he goes away for work, right?
mm-hmm.
And I was like, Oh my goodness, I definitely can't leave compound when he's not even in the country. Why?
Why
Why?
that? Why would
Why?
that be?
Why did?
Why
Why
would
would?
that be
Why?
an issue?
I don't know. I don't know because obviously, if I'm going out and about, he's not there. But this is what's amazing about confidence and self doubt, is that you
Yeah.
create these rules that are very, very limiting. So I caught this in myself, and what did I do? I've booked a baby class for next week. So we are going out. We're
Yes.
doing a trip. We're going to go and do a baby group at the same place actually where I took Andrew on my first solo driving. Well, not solo driving, but me driving. So we've practiced the route. I know I feel comfortable on the route on the way there, which is also again it's something else that can help you build confidence when you repeat the
Sure.
exact same thing. You know, you
Yeah.
feel comfortable with the roads, and even actually at the weekend, I know that there was a quicker way to get to the destination where I was going with my friend, but I took the longer route because I knew I felt more comfortable with the roads. And ultimately, if it's a slower, but you start to build that confidence, and it does really help, doesn't it? So I think the next thing is to stop waiting for the confidence to
Yeah,
come. You know,
because it will never come. And I think especially if you say like you're going to do it and then you're not doing it, or our brain, I think it's just because you're obviously, you're very protective of your little tiny baby because she does need your protection. Like, that's just the way it is.
mm-hmm.
But I think a lot of our fears are so irrational. Like, if you look at it and logic, it's like, doesn't make any sense. Like, a lot of it is just illusions
Mm-hmm.
and they keep us in this cage. And that, or like, you probably everyone heard the story of an elephant, who's chained,
Yes,
right, as a
yes.
baby, and then he's grown up and he could easily, walk away with a whole bloody, I don't know, shed he's staying. The chain is not even, locked because he's way too powerful and strong, but he's learned that he's restricted there. So, and I think, and I love it. I definitely think, like, you challenge yourself, but don't make it to the point like that it's just super uncomfortable. I think you kind of want to be comfortable with uncomfortable, but none of us want to be constantly uncomfortable or uncomfortable to the degree where it's like really, it's like so stressful for you. And I think that, like, I totally hear you. Like, oh my God, my first time driving in Beirut. Literally, when I got back, I thought I need a shot of something's really strong. That was so terrifying. But well, it's liberating and it's terrifying at the same time. When I think like choose liberation rather than fears, and just do it gradually. Like I don't think cold turkey. Well, cold turkey maybe in some cases, but like exactly go on like rides or practice. I think that like I took a friend when I went for my first drive because like you need eyes all over when you're driving in Beirut. So that was super helpful. And then going first small, not far from home to places I know, and then further. And it's just how you, exactly. I think give yourself also like, be gentle with yourself. Like, if this were your daughter, Isla, trying something new for the first time, you wouldn't want her to kind of really, right? It's
Yeah,
like you want it to be gentle and fun. And that's how you learn, look, I'm safe. I'm safe. I think that's how we signal to ourselves, like, hey, I've got it. I've got it. I've got it. I've got it.
yeah, and absolutely. And I think it's knowing that you have overcome them before. It's knowing that you have the tools to go. Okay, let's make it as easy as we can. But anyway, I will report back because this is us me rebuilding confidence in real time with you all. So I'll keep you up to date on how we're getting out and about.
Yes, please. And I think all of us, because and like life is never static, right? It's changing all the time, and
Yeah.
hence, like having teenage kids is the first time. It's like you're a beginner. In the beginning, you're kind of maybe not that good at it, or with your first teenage child, or I don't know. Like it's an example, but with anything, like a new shift in your life, and bang, you are there trying to figure things out. I think that's trying to figure things out and kind of yeah, learning something new. Obviously, it applies to languages, it applies to everything. So yeah, that will be interesting. Yes, Emma, keep us posted on your. But again, you are doing it, and I think that matters more than ultimately the outcome. Almost like you are doing it. You cannot say like I haven't done it.
Yeah, slowly, slowly. As I say, we're just finding our feet and just doing it bit by bit, and then, yeah, hopefully in a few weeks or a few months or however long it takes, I'll be out and about, and we'll be going out for coffee and doing all the fun things. And yeah, I think it's just the next bit. So I think if I were to write down, I think three things that
Hmm.
I am or I am proud of myself of since I've returned back to Kenya, and we are how many weeks in? Maybe 3 or 4 weeks. I can't remember. We're in our third or fourth week back in Kenya. It would be that I have, you know, asked for more support. So I have that is something I'm
Well
very proud
done.
of. Even like first thing in the morning, um, we all can relate to not having brushed our teeth and not having showers and not being ready. And then as soon as Andrew goes to work, I'm like, oh, where's my time now? um, so I've asked for support, and now I have consistently brushed my teeth before 8 a.m., which is
Congratulations.
it sounds like a small win, but it feels massive to me. So asking for support. My second thing would be that you know, I have slowly started to get out. I've visited new places with Isla. Um, I've always been with somebody, but not always Andrew. So that's also, but so that's nice because when I'm not with Andrew, obviously 100% of the parenting is then to me.
Yeah.
And I have no one to go, what do you think? What do you think I should do with her? Um, so that's been something. And the third thing, I would say just starting to spend a little bit more time for myself, which has been really nice. I think I get to the gym for maybe 3 times a week at the moment. Um,
Wow.
yeah,
Yeah,
and
that's
it's like
great, Emma.
20 to 25 minutes, and
That's fine.
I think and I can't tell you when I first did it, I was just like, wow, I feel like myself. I've got my alone time. I can just have some
Mm.
music on. I can do my own thing. Um, so I think having that, if I, the reason why say all of those three things is really to encourage our listeners to also think about three things that they have already overcome. Even when we're so easy to focus, aren't we, on, oh, I'm not this expert yet, or I'm not
Yeah.
doing this so comfortably. But actually, if you can really reflect on the three things that you're proud of, or things that you've overcome in the last month or 2 months, or since you arrived at post, you can
Or even
really,
today, sorry, Emma, even
yeah,
today, I'm sure you have more than 3 wins you could
yes,
report today. I would encourage everyone to do daily. Well, to start with 3. But I'm sure even today you did some amazing shit. Yeah.
yes,
So that's true. Like I know.
yeah. I know it is
Yeah.
true.
It is.
You
Those
do a
are
lot.
big ones. Like those are big ones. But I think like there's this negativity bias where wired we like, our brain is wired to see the negative and focus there.
Hmm.
And that's why it's like, really I think it's kind of takes conscious effort to start with. It's like, hey, that was good and that was good. And I did that and I brushed my teeth before 8. Yes.
Yeah. Oh dear. I don't know what type of impression all of our listeners are going to have of me right now. I promise.
Well, I'm sure.
I also shower every day too.
Look, I think we've all been mums.
Yeah.
Oh, for those who are like, yeah. So look, I hear you, Emma.
Yeah.
I can
Thank you.
totally relate. One thing I was thinking, when you say brushing thing, I know, like, it's amazing. Obviously, at some point, like, I had a toddler and a newborn, and you kind of, I can use. Like I can do things with my hand, brush my teeth, stir a pot with my feet and
Yeah.
something. I don't know. You become so good at using all your limbs.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Yes. I never have used my feet so much in my entire life.
Yeah, you open and close doors with them. You do
Yeah.
a lot of things.
Think I even
Yep,
picked up my phone with my feet at one point. I
here you
just,
go.
yeah. It's amazing how adaptable you become.
You become very resourceful
Yes.
with what you have and how to use it. So um, if you were to recap what you've discussed today, I hope it resonated with the listeners because I know confidence is the big thing. Like can I tell for all of us?
Hmm.
Maybe we can feel confident, and obviously, let's say when we've done things over and over, like I'm confident moving countries, that's easy for me. Like I'm confident and looking after my body, that's easy because I've built you know, I have hours of training. Like I've done it, I have the expertise, and that's why I think and it's easy then to stay because it becomes comfortable.
Yeah.
And that's why you can go from professional, let's say role as like a professional person with a career, then to being a mom, and then well the transition obviously you kind of yeah have to learn a lot of things. You go from confident to not confident because you're doing something for the first time, but then you become really good and confident being a mom. But if that happens also to a lot of us, if you haven't been out of workforce for a long time, can you imagine how confidence goes down the drain
Yes.
as a
Oh,
professional? It was a long
yeah.
time ago. I'm excellent as mom. Like, I can it's just like use my feet to pick up my phone. I can do anything. But as a professional, I'm not sure anymore.
Mm.
Like, things like that. And I think it's just the way it goes. And I think it's good to be great at something. And obviously, there are some areas where like naturally tend to be greater at and or enjoy more. But I think it's good to also get out of your comfort zone and decide, hey, like little by bit, little, what's next?
Yeah.
What would you
And
like to be more confident at?
yeah, and I think I would just like to finish off by saying just remember that your self-worth isn't defined by what you are doing, your job title, how productive you are, how many friends you have, how quickly you settled. Just remember that you are absolutely amazing. You have already overcome and taken the greatest leap of faith by being where you are. And that alone, you don't need any other evidence to know that you are amazing, you know?
I love that, Emma. Exactly. You don't have to prove anything to anyone. Like, that's for sure, by doing things, accomplishing them. And I agree with you. Your enoughness and worthiness does not depend on whether you have a husband, whether you don't, whether you have a child, whether you don't. None of that. Like, it's intrinsically built in you. I think it's really a great reminder here that you don't have to prove anything. Like, it's already is. Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
absolutely. Yeah. Oh, we were
So,
snapping on the absolutely. Um, so I would just
snapping
then,
on.
I'd just say then, if I was going to ask our listeners one thing to reflect on, I'd say, what's one small step for your future confident self would thank you for taking this week? So, what could you do this week that would help your future confidence?
Yeah, I love
And let
that.
and let us know.
And I would maybe also add, what's one thing you ought to be doing, but you've been putting it off, and you just know because it's always there.
Yes.
Maybe write it down and do it, and maybe start small if it's been really intimidating you for, like driving alone with your baby or something,
Yeah.
because you've been putting it off. And I'm also talking to myself, so I'll be doing the same. I think it applies, right? We're walking our talk.
Absolutely. And I think this is what's so nice about this podcast is that not only do we hope that we're helping others, but actually it does help ourselves too.
It helps ourselves exactly,
Yes.
and I think it's because no one has ever everything figured out. It just doesn't work this way. It's really little by little, right? How we kind of yeah grow and and build and strengthen the self-trust and worthiness and confidence. Because maybe before we go, like, you can be so confident, so proud of yourself right now, because all of us whoever, like us talking and you guys listening, we've all survived 100% of our best and 100% of our worst days.
Yes,
We're winners. We're amazing per
we are.
definition. We're here, right?
We are. Well, that was so lovely. Thank you, Anna. But yes, what a wonderful way to end. Absolutely. We are not only survivors, we're thrivers.
We
Um,
are.
so wonderful. Anna, where can we find you if we wanted to chat with you a little bit more?
Instagram, not just a spouse, the same website with the same name, and LinkedIn, my first and last name. How about you, Emma?
You can find me at A Zesty Life, and my email is also in the show notes. But please do let us know if you, even if it's you just want like an accountability check, just tell us what you want to work on over the next few weeks. We'd just love to hear, wouldn't we, Anna? One thing that you want to gain more confidence in, and then what your next step is. That would just be amazing.
Absolutely. And if you have any topics you'd like us to unpack in the future episodes, please let us know.
Yes, wonderful. Well, have a lovely day. Thank you so much, Anna.
Thank you, Emma, and thank you, listeners, and those who are watching us on YouTube. So we see you next time.
We'll see
Bye.
you very soon. Bye. Bye.